Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Alaska's senior senator is back in her hometown and talking gun legislation.
U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski yesterday expressed concern that President Obama could act by executive order to increase gun control. Vice President Biden headed the first White House gun violence study group yesterday. Biden reportedly said that the president would take executive action once enough information is gathered by the group. Murkowski said she could accept the use of executive orders to heighten the enforcement of existing gun laws, but not to implement new gun control rules. Murkowski said how we deal with the massacre in Newtown is something that Americans are talking about.
Certainly, how we deal with the aftermath of the massacre in Newtown is something that Americans are thinking about, they're talking about. But I am one who believes that we will not stop the violence that we see in so many parts of this country by taking from those who lawfully possess a firearm in the name of gun control. We need to make sure that this debate is not about demonizing those who feel very strongly about their Second Amendment right to possess a firearm. We need to make sure that what we're doing deals with the whole problem.
Local leaders met with media earlier today to discuss the suspicious death of 59-year-old Johnny Wallace. News Center 11's Daryl Lewis was downtown for the press conference and has more.
Thanks. Still a whole lot of questions and very few answers into the suspicious death of 59-year-old John Druck Wallace. Her name is Velma Wallace, sister of Johnny Wallace, the Fort Yukon man critically burned at the downtown post office and who died from his injuries last Saturday. Velma Wallace, like many others, says she wants answers as to how her brother died.
I guess it's finally just dawning on me that this guy was burned. This guy was burned, and then he was able to tell them his name. And so I want to know when my relatives die in any kind of violence, or they didn't suffer. And so I comfort myself, hoping that the ER people had put him under because the burns were very extensive. But yes, he did have health problems. You can't be on the street for that long and not have health problems.
On Thursday afternoon, city police and fire officials, mayors from Fairbanks City and the Fairbanks North Star Borough, as well as native leaders from a host of interior agencies, were on hand at Chief David Salmon Tribal Hall for an update on the situation, one that still has the tag undetermined attached.
No man deserves to die in that fashion. And the only way we can arrest and minimize tragedies like this and the atrocities that happen to our fellow man is to bind together and to work together to solve these issues.
This is a very troubling case, just the circumstances of somebody burning to the point that they wound up dying in a public building that rapidly and for unknown reasons is troubling to everybody. And we very much want to find out what happened as much as everybody else does.
While authorities say their investigation into the incident continues, they're wanting to speak with another male subject they say was with Wallace at the time the fire took place. Others say they will not rest until someone is brought to justice in the case or some other form of resolution is reached.
I hope that the person that did this comes forth, or someone who knows something is able to, we're able to resolve this. As his sister, I'm angry right now, that's all there is to it.
Two men have been accused of breaking into a home in the Chena Esther Ditch Road area, beating and choking the 30-year-old occupant and stealing his car. 26-year-old Kyle Curtin and 33-year-old Cody Ladig, both of Fairbanks, each face charges of felony assault, burglary, vehicle theft, and evading troopers. Investigators say the men fled as troopers arrived in the area, crashing the car into a ditch. Ladig was caught there, but Curtin continued to flee and allegedly stole another vehicle before abandoning it and running into the woods. He was caught after an hour foot pursuit that reportedly left him with frostbite. He was taken to the hospital for treatment and then jailed.
A 22-year-old Delta Junction man faces between 5 and 15 years in jail after he pled guilty to a felony sex abuse charge earlier this week. During a scheduled hearing late Tuesday, Sean Beaudre pled guilty to a single count of second-degree sexual abuse of a minor. According to a news release, authorities in Delta received a report of possible abuse on October 8th of 2011. State prosecutors say Beaudre sexually abused a 4-year-old girl living in the same household. That, according to Alaska State Troopers.
A 47-year-old woman from Tok who had been accused of stealing tens of thousands of dollars from an organized gun club will serve 60 days in jail after striking a plea deal with prosecutors. Martha Edwards had been charged with 38 counts of forgery and falsifying business records. She pled guilty to single counts of each offense in exchange to having all others dismissed. According to Alaska State Troopers, Edwards was the treasurer of the Tok Shooters Association and stole more than $20,400 from her organization.
When we come back, the governor plans to submit bills to reform state taxes.
And tomorrow is the observance of Human Trafficking Awareness Day. That and more. Stay with us.
This edition of the Fbx Evening News is brought to you by Prospector Outfitters and by Kendall Auto of Fairbanks.
Welcome back. Next week, Governor Sean Parnell plans to introduce a revamped proposal to the state legislature that will include reforms of both the state's tax rates and investment incentives. Earlier this week, Deputy Commissioner of the Alaska Department of Revenue, Bruce Tangeman, says the governor plans to offer a new approach to boosting Alaska oil production this year. The commissioner says in order for the governor's ideas to succeed, he has to have a unified legislature that will support the governor with a plan for reforming state tax rates and investment incentives for oil producers.
Last year, we at least were able to change the dialogue and say, okay, there might be a problem, but there was a lot of disagreement on how to fix the problem. So this year, as we present a new piece of legislation, we're just looking forward to an opportunity to have a civil dialogue with the legislature. And everybody has the same goal. It's to grow the pie and make Alaska a better place to live.
Each year, communities across the globe pause to reflect on a societal issue that continues to be a growing problem. Tomorrow is Human Trafficking Awareness Day, a designation that seeks to shed light on the proliferation of the issue and seeks ways communities can combat the trade. Each year, over 30 million people worldwide are trafficked for sex, slavery, or for other nefarious reasons. In Alaska, human trafficking has been an increasing issue as more and more Alaskan Native women have fallen victim to trafficking criminals. Senator Lisa Murkowski has been a vocal advocate for trafficking victims. In July of 2011, Murkowski asked then U.S. Associate Attorney General Tom Pirelli why human trafficking is so prevalent in society.
A lack of research and understanding of the issue. Law enforcement didn't always know how to identify the issue, so more training is needed. We found that perhaps some of the grant programs might need some additional flexibility to allow grantees to focus on trafficking. People need to understand better, because I think there is a sense that in individual communities they don't even know what's happening until there's a major prosecution.
1 in 3 Americans are said to be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. The American Cancer Society Relay for Life helps those among us fight the disease and make a difference. Tomorrow at Pioneer Park, Relay for Life 2013 will host a kickoff event at Pioneer Park. The event begins at 6 p.m. and the News Center spoke to the Cancer Society about their role in fighting cancer.
We're the nation's largest private funder of cancer research, and so it's not just staying here to support patients, but it's also, going throughout the nation to come up with groundbreaking cancer research.
Hey, Joe.
Joe.
How you guys doing tonight?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
Good. We got some special features coming up in sports tonight. We explore something that was thought to be a bit uncommon, but it's becoming more and more common. And we also talk about a moment in sports that really defines the word teammate. That's next in sports.
That sounds good.
Brought to you by the Law Office of Rita T. Alley. Peace of mind through professional legal services.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here once again in the sports seat for you this Thursday. Thanks for joining me. And now we're going to get into some sports features. Now, did you ever see someone doing something that may seem out of the norm and wonder why they were doing it? Well, what was weird to me was seeing girls participate in high school wrestling, but not in Alaska. In 2007, Michaela Hutchinson of Skyview High School was the first girl to be state champion. The last was Kenai's Hope Stevenson in 2010. I found out that girls who wrestle was a trend that is becoming the norm.
My brother, when I first started, he said, "Oh, you can't do this. You're not good enough." And I proved him wrong.
My brother wrestles, and he kind of wanted me to get into the sport. I do a lot of crazy things, and I'm very athletic, so I was like, okay, let's do it.
When a girl makes the team, it doesn't guarantee a match.
A lot of people forfeit and don't want to wrestle because I'm a girl.
But when a girl does get on the mat, they can do damage, like Cody Warham, who has a 10-10 record in the 113-pound class and explains a girl's mindset.
We think a little bit smarter. You know, guys just go out there trying to be all tough, like all they're doing is just being mad and just everywhere. Girls are like, okay, you know, this is what I need to do step by step.
It's pretty fun. And then the guy will go off the mat and he'll be all down.
Girls don't have the strength the guys have, but like Hutchinson coach Greg Evershed told me, they have the flexibility. Dady Agnew agrees.
Some of the flexibility helps them not get pinned and helps them get to certain moves that would be difficult for some guys.
Boys accept the girls as their own and even ask them for advice.
All the kids talk to her, ask her questions, and that's important because that's a major leadership skill that, you know, I feel like is very important in wrestling.
We pretty much treat her as an equal teammate. She's not really much different than anyone else. She goes out there and works hard, so.
Everybody's a wrestler when they step onto the mat, and we just treat them all the same, you know, same expectations, same technique, same everything that we work with the rest of the wrestlers. Everybody gets out there and does what wrestlers do.
So I think it's happening more and more. It's getting more accepting.
Everybody on the team, no matter how horrible you are, they're always there for you. They're always there encouraging you, and they're always there doing the same things you are, doing the same, going through the same tough environment as you are, and they're still pushing through it, and you're seeing them push through it, and you're just like, if they can do it, so can I.
And they sure can. One of our own is receiving some national recognition in football, not for the usual stellar stats or magnificent plays, but for being selfless, demonstrating heart, and being a great teammate. Dane Ebenez, a North Pole product, played a few snaps in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl for the Oregon Ducks in his last game. He's played sparingly as a walk-on since 2009. Keenan Lowe made sure his teammate got in his first career bowl game by faking an injury so Dane could step onto the field. Dane has been compared to Rudy from the inspirational movie by writers of the Oregonian, Yahoo Sports, and the Sporting News. We caught up with Dane last night by phone, and here's Dane's Oregon story.
By the time I got 2 years in, I had made really good friends, and it became more of I just want to support them. I just want to be there for them, and I don't care what role I take anymore. I'm helping this team win, and I know it. My teammates know, and that's all that really mattered to me. And there's been a lot of, in practices, nobody really knows the sacrifices we make for each other. And so, in the end, trying to do that, it's just a reflection of how our relationship has worked all this time. And it was great for him to do that in a situation like that, and I'll always appreciate him for it.
Nice to finally get him some recognition because he's an outstanding worker. I think Coach Kelly's quote about the meritocracy of college football was fitting for Dane because he's always worked so hard, and I feel he's earned that opportunity. It was nice to hear that he finally got it. He's played in a few games and things like that, but it's tough for a lot of those kids. It's a great story because a lot of college football is based on kids that make those sacrifices that Dane made for the program there.
Originally a soccer star, Dane was encouraged by North Pole alums who felt he had a great chance of going to Oregon and making the team. Dane's parents were apprehensive at first but supported Dane, and he took the chance despite taking on a lot of debt, but he never looked back.
It's a good experience, that's for sure. And so people look at $70 grand and think, wow, that's way too much. But really, I talked to my parents about it, I talked to Boss about it, and I would regret it if I didn't take this chance.
he did a lot of things for the school, worked hard. His GPA was high. He had a great GPA, so he worked hard for that. But so it's hopefully a story that kids can look up to and see as an inspiration.
And it sure will be an inspiration. Be sure to check out the Joe T. Classic Basketball Tournament at Lathrop High School. The 4-team round-robin tourney started today, and it runs through Saturday. And that does it for sports tonight. Remember, you can get more KTVF sports on webcenter11.com and on our new mobile app. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Well, the light snow arrived like we expected it to, but not a lot of accumulation, but still just enough over the roads to make them a little slick.
Dusting.
A dusting.
Yeah, we're going to get some more dusting tonight. Then things will clear off, and another storm will be moving in, giving us another opportunity for some snow, but nothing really heavy. But the warm temperatures are still on course for this coming week, and we'll tell you more about that. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Let's go out to the airport right now and see what's going on. We still have a little light snow falling, 12 degrees. That's our high for the day. The overnight low, 14 below. Record high, well, in 1937, it got up to 40 degrees that day, but in 1952, down to 56 below. Sunrise this morning was at 10:38, and the sun set this afternoon at 3:28, which gives us 4 hours, 43 minutes of daylight. That's a gain of another 5 minutes from yesterday. Here's our photograph for tonight. This is from Greg Zimmerman. We'll call this an adventurous ermine. As you can see here, a little guy eating up pretty good on that food that Greg left out for him there. And if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. Here's our satellite picture. You see one system exiting the state and another system right on its heels. This is the one that gave us the snow today. Here comes the next system. That'll be moving in later on tonight into tomorrow, and then we'll see some more snow developing by tomorrow night, it looks like, but nothing really heavy because it's coming in just not quite the right direction. Elsewhere across the area on our radars, you can see we're looking at most of the snow is moving out of the picture now, so we're not looking at a whole lot more accumulation for the rest of the night, but still a few flakes here and there. What's going on across the rest of the state? Little snow around the Juneau area. Temperature is cooling off there. 25 degrees at Kodiak, 36 at Kodiak, 25 at Anchorage, and a little snow falling around the Nome area. 15 below at Barrow, pretty chilly there, and 0 degrees at Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather tonight. Once again, things are really moving along pretty good in the Central Plains. Things have cleared up over the western side of the states for right now. That may change, though. This big storm system here really shows up good on the satellite and radar. We'll show you that in just a little bit. As you can see, the outlook for Friday is calling for a real mix of rain, ice, and snow all the way back across the western side of the country. And it's all because of this storm system here moving up rapidly toward the Great Lakes, and then a lot of cold air moving in behind that system. We talked about the jet stream yesterday. Once again this weekend, the cold air will be diving way down to the south, all the way down to southern sections of Arizona, New Mexico, even on the west coast. So some wild weather expected there. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. It looks like on the northern sections, partly cloudy skies for Barrow. A couple inches of snow expected in Nome, and mostly cloudy skies at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at mostly cloudy skies with more clouds moving in throughout the day, and some snow to possibly developing by evening. Over the southeastern sections, mostly cloudy with a chance of snow across the region, maybe mixing with a little rain in the Ketchikan area. To the southwest, looks like windy with snow in Cold Bay and Kodiak, and snow is likely for Bethel. Over the south central regions, well, looks like areas of snow at Anchorage and Homer, and a couple inches of snow expected in the Valdez area. Once again, time for our kids' weather, and this week we're talking with the kids from North Pole Elementary School. Tonight, a young man has a question for me. Okay.
Hi, my name is Shane Monson, and I'm in Mrs. Van Skal's 3rd grade class. Here's my question for the weatherman. What is the hottest temperature ever measured in the whole world?
Well, Shane, Death Valley, California gets the award for that. 134 degrees, July 10th in 1913. So, again, thank you for that question. And tomorrow night, the teacher will be sharing a unique weather fact with us. It is a Thursday night, which means it's time for our road conditions. As you can see here on the Stetson Elliott Highway, icy patches and areas of snow, glazed roads and some areas of snow on the Richardson Highway, and the Parks Highway reduced visibilities again because of some snow. And rain is expected Sunday near Anchorage. If you're heading down that way, keep that in mind. The roads will be very, very slick. Here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 7 degrees below zero. That is cold with light snow slowly ending. Tomorrow's forecast, 8 degrees above. More clouds with snow possible later on. And that mild forecast for the next 5 days. You can see here, temperatures once again very warm. 31 degrees on Tuesday, with 30 degrees on Monday, which means there's a possibility we could see some mixed rain and snow. For one thing is for sure, we're going to see roads get really nasty, so be prepared and get ready for next week because it will be kind of slick. We'll keep you advised on that with more information on tomorrow's update.
Okay, thank you. And I still can't believe that in January of all months to get 30 degrees above. That's crazy.
I'm
way
excited.
Above.
Yeah,
minus the driving conditions.
Yes,
that might be a little scary.
Okay, just a reminder, you can now get our news, sports, and weather on our iPhone, on your iPhone, iPad, and Android with our new mobile app. You can find all the information at our website. That is webcenter11.com.
And it's free.
And it's free. That is true. Like this newscast. That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we're glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, the flu outbreak gets worse with reports of vaccine shortages. That's next with Brian Williams.
A reminder, you can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
That's free too. Yeah.
All right,
anytime.
That's all
That's
free.
right. Yeah.
It's all free.
Free.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.